doing this art thing and ran into a buddy who worked for Snoop. And he's like, hey, I want a family portrait done of Snoop. I said, not a problem. I did it, took it to him, and the rest is history. Became his personal assistant for 2 years. And
What are
Snoop
the
Dogg.
odds, dude? Isn't life just so weird? All of a sudden, you're Snoop Dogg's assistant, painting him family portraits, sipping Hennessy with Kurupt. We met in California, and then, we both went separate ways, but then I didn't realize that you were an artist back then, or drawing. And then next thing I know, I remember you getting out of like Snoop Dogg's limo at LAX, I believe, when you ran into Adam. And Adam's like, yo, Sage is with Snoop Dogg.
yeah. So it's funny how that all worked out. I moved out to California after high school. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, same spot where Breaking Bad was filmed. So
Wow.
high school and the neighborhood and everything is like kind of my stomping grounds, but not the place for me. So moved out to SoCal, and then doing this art thing and ran into a buddy who worked for Snoop. And he's like, hey, I want a family portrait done of Snoop. I said, not a problem. I did it, took it to him, and the rest is history. Became his personal assistant for 2 years, and didn't like travel a whole lot or anything like that with him, but like worked for his Snoop Youth Football League and personal assistant stuff and everything in between. It's crazy.
Sage,
Crazy.
did you by chance did you go with him when he recorded in Omaha? He recorded for like a cartoon or something like that in Omaha once. Was that with around the time you were there?
No, I was there. I don't know if you guys remember, he had the TV show on E with the whole family back
Oh,
in the.
yeah.
I kind of dipped out right around when that show started. So like I dipped out kind of around 2008 or so.
So what is Snoop like? When he's not Snoop. I mean, this is the grandfather
Yeah, Dogfather.
of the dog father of rap. You know what I mean? It's like this guy was, two of America's most wanted.
Out of town, put it down for the father of rap.
Yeah. It shut your trap. Not you, but no, he's cool. Just different than what I expected. Coming in, when I first met him, I went to his house. I didn't like meet him at a so-and-so spot or whatever. I met him directly at his house, took the painting right to his house, met his wife, Shantae, met the kids when they were little. Now they're grown up and have kids of their own. Yeah, it's just crazy. He's super nice, super just kind. It's just kind of the other people that he hangs around with that you kind of have to get around and maneuver around. Some white guy coming in to the mix of this, they kind of wonder who you are and what you're doing there and stuff. So once I got past that and they saw that I was there for the family and so on and so forth, it all worked out.
Did they ever ask you if you were an undercover cop?
No. Funny you say that. They never said that, but his security guys, I used to, I got longer hair now, but back in the day, I used to have like a nice fade and edge up and everything. And so security gave me shit sometimes. We're like, oh, you a skinhead, or, just trying to test me, but
Yeah. But you held it together. You passed that, because is he still crypt up? Was he crypt up? Because he still says it in songs.
he's crypt up. And he doesn't gangbang like he says, but nonetheless, I'm may go see him next month. I've got another painting. I did a Tupac painting for him. And so I want to take it to him. And so I hit up the same guy again who got me introduced from the beginning. And we may go to the compound and may drop off a couple more paintings to Snoop. He's got about 4 of my paintings right now.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Where does he live now? Like the area, you don't have to go. Because I remember at that time, was it Chino?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because I had a family that lived over there on my wife's side.
Yeah. Very, very interesting time. Taught me a lot about myself and what real hustle is, and what, you get starstruck, you're around this guy, but it's like you have to behave in certain ways, or these guys will literally just throw your ass out on the street. They don't care
Yeah.
whether you're on tour or whatever. Hey man, catch a ride home later.
So what's the real hustle? you know, like,
Just
or just business wise.
just going above and beyond. I mean, I used to clean, I used to organize his closets. I used to go in his game room and organize drinks and straighten the labels and clean up clean up all the ashes and blunts and ask him if he need anything to drink, ask his homies if they need anything to drink, kind of like a, personal assistant. I mean,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't have to ask me. I would come kind of just like above and beyond and do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. How
So
many
that's,
blunts did he smoke a day?
who knows?
Like at least like 5 or 6, maybe.
A day?
Yeah.
Smoking five or six when he's waking up.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
probably 20, 30 blunts a day. Who knows? Very
Yeah.
interesting times, man. Very interesting time.
20 or 30. That's
Going from delivering artwork to him to then being a personal assistant to making a friendship, being around his family. I still talk to his older son on Instagram from time to time. And it's just cool, man. I'm blessed and grateful to be in that position. And it taught me a lot about myself. And, I work for, besides Paint the World, I work for a dispensary as well. And we've been open 13 years, family owned business. So being in the weed industry when I was working for Snoop, being in the weed industry now, it's a blessing, man. Truly.
Yeah.
And so now I sell this weed and create art for a living.
Paint the
and
world.
Paint the world, man. Paint the world. Did you guys like the tool shed
Oh,
board?
yeah.
Oh yeah, we love
So
it.
the skateboard that is by our main man Sage. Yeah, dude, I loved it, man.
Yeah, Sage, I was going to tell you, this was kind of an exciting episode for me because I was never, I don't even know how to put this. Skateboarding culture had a huge impact on me. I had a mini logo when I was in 7th grade. I got it with what is it, Spitfire wheels or whatever. But I never could land any tricks or anything. And I remember my older brother, he was a skater in the 90s, and he was like, Matthew, I don't think you're tough enough to be a skater. And and so my best friend, he's a BMXer, and so I got into BMX. But I also really couldn't do any tricks, but I always was at the skate park, always around BMXers, always around skateboarders. Just probably a huge impact on who I am to this day, because it's, your teenage years and stuff like that, and your attitude, things like that, music you listen to, your style, all those things. But I think that they let me hang out with them because I was funny, I guess. But I was just thinking about that on the way up here, listening to some of the music we used to listen to and thinking about guys like Aaron Ross. My best friend was a huge Aaron Ross fan. Are you familiar with him from Sunday Bikes?
I'm not. You can educate me though.
Oh, he's just a popular BMXer. Did you ever get into BMX at all, or
I raced BMX, and then
Yeah.
my dad shattered his elbow in one of the races, and we were like, I'm good. But I mean, I've been skating since I was 9. I'm 41.
Yeah.
I've been skating. I'm thick into it, tricks, and it's a part of me, man.
How do you
And
land? How do you just not feel pain? Because I tried to skateboard before, like in high school, and because I snowboarded, I skied, then I snowboarded, and I wakeboarded, and then I tried skateboarding, and I was like, I can't handle this. I tried to just go in on a half ramp and just face planted. I mean, it was a disaster.
yeah, so I'm not good at snowboarding, believe it or not.
Really?
Because my feet are attached and I can't bail if I need to,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Gotta
that.
tip, right? So skating, it comes to a point when you're a kid where you're landing you're trying to land tricks and you get hurt, and it gets to that point where, ow, that fucking hurt. Either I want to do this or I don't. And
Yeah.
so I stuck with it and then just learn tricks. And I love it, man. I love it. The culture of skateboarding is great. We're open arms to everybody, just as long as you're not a tweaker or a weirdo.
Yeah.
Which is what, like more than half of Southern California?
Yeah, exactly. Come to San Francisco too, man. You can see all that too. But yeah, it's real open arms, and it's a blessing, man. You don't really even have to skate. You could just go to a skate park and chill, and no one would ever say anything. And even if you try and skate and eat shit a bunch, or you're not good or whatever, no one's gonna clown
Yeah,
you,
dude.
man.
Dude, they're awesome. I still remember how excited I get, like 14, 15 years old, and I get a call on my home phone. It's like, hey, we're going to the high school gap. and hopping on my bike and going out there, going to the skate park, and the skaters and the biker, like the BMXers, we always had harmony. You know, there's really no beef there. We all got along really tight, you know. I've heard though now that skaters are getting really tired of scooters. Do you have a lot of scooters at your skate park that piss you off or no?
I mean, as far as like the relationship between bikers and bladers, there is a relationship. I mean, anybody who has beef with a biker or blader is weak, man. You know what I mean? You're just not a cool person just
Yeah.
because of riding. Like, dude can't skate, so he's biking, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as the scooters, man, it's just, you got to be patient with these kiddos, man. You can't go off on a kid at a skate park.
Yeah.
Not cool.
At 41.
Yeah, number one, it's not cool. Number two, their parent will be there and probably cuss you out. But you just got to be patient. And the kids with the scooters, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'll say this: like, there weren't really anybody doing blades that I can think of, and I think we would all thought it was cool. And when back then, when someone would show up with like a Razor scooter, the skaters would be like, "Here, dude, let me see that," and then they would just do badass tricks on it. But I've been out for a while. Haven't been to the skate park to do anything for a long time since high school. But I had a friend recently tell me, he's like, dude, I get so annoyed and frustrated with the kids on scooters because I think they are kids, and I honestly think what it probably comes down to is situational awareness, and they don't have it.
I'm gonna get on a scooter and then helmet.
Yeah, you got to know when you're skating by or blading by a certain spot that some guy's not launching out of the ramp.
Yeah.
And on you. It's just it's awareness that the parents don't really teach much, and it is what it is. And I just got to snake around them and get those clips, man.
Yeah, dude, I love skateboarding culture too. I mean, I still have video of when I filmed you guys back in the day. You, Ben, Ty.
You're gonna have to remind me of some things, Austin, because
like it's there, bro, but it's not like I can't pull it. I just know. I mean, I know that I have footage. Like we went to like a school one time. I know that we went in like one of the drainage ditches. You know, that was a thing. I got some cool photos and stuff there. But yeah, I just that was a huge part of Southern California in the early 2000s, and probably still is. But I just remember that there was skateboarders everywhere. So who were some of your who inspired you to skate? Who were your guys?
I mean, if I had to take it back to, I got a buddy who still skates. His name's Sierra Fellers. He's still pro and he's still killing it. So he's a big inspiration. But it's kind of like the older skaters, Eric Costin, Heath Kirchart, Andrew Reynolds. Those kind of skaters really inspired me. I got started skating because I thought it was cool. I saw a couple of my buddies doing it. And so I did it. Just like gymnastics, same thing. I was a gymnast for 12 years. And
oh, nice.
Same buddy, actually the same guy who skated was a gymnast. I was like, oh, let me do that. And 12 years later,
What did you specialize in gymnastics?
So I went to a school, a certain club, and then it would be like the Olympics, all 6 events, vault, parallel bars, high bar, vault, high bar, floor, rings, like all 6 of them. And I would train and do all the stuff. And then during the summer times, we'd go to Colorado at the Olympic Training Center and train. I used to be able to do the cross on the rings and
you did
double backs on the high bar and stuff like that. I can still do a backflip to this day, but that's about it, guys.
Nice.
Dude, you must have been, how ripped were you? I mean, that to be able to do all that stuff.
Of course,
insane.
I wasn't, I didn't take protein to get big, but I was cut, skinny, but cut,
Yeah.
That gymnastics, it had to help with skateboarding too. How to fall, roll.
It also saved my life. I was in a car accident before I moved out to California, and there were no seatbelts in the car. My brother was driving and we got T-boned. Don't remember, obviously, but flew out of the car. Anyway, I'm cool now, obviously, but the doctor said the reason why I survived is because I was such in good shape. That's what he said.
Wow.
What he said.
Wow.
So thank you,
That's
Jeanette.
awesome. So you just flew out of the car probably like this and then ducked, rolled, but you don't remember it, of course, but you probably did some
fronts before I
People are like, is he performing? That's what they were saying as they were driving by.
Did the circus come to town?
Yeah, dude.
Is he gonna die or is this an act?
I've always been in martial arts. We learned how to dive roll, and our teacher told us one time there was a guy who knew how to dive roll for martial arts that they had trained, and he was in a motorcycle accident where he got launched and he landed in a dive roll, And when the cop showed up, he's like, "Where's the motorcyclist's body?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm right here." And he's like, "Yeah, I just did a roll and just kept rolling." And that's supposedly what saved his life.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
if you're going to do a dive roll in gymnastics, the best way to do it is just put your chin to your chest. That's it.
Yeah.
Your back will hunch, and then you'll just roll out.
Gang, gang.
Nice.
So were
That's
you
good
ever
info.
sponsored? Were you ever a sponsored skater, Sage?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I was just big in it. I'm decent, but I'm not like on that caliber. I can do handrail, certain rails and like stairs and stuff, but there's like a limit, especially now at my age. But never sponsored. Just always passionate about skateboarding.
Of course, yeah. Did you spend a lot of time around pro skaters and stuff?
I did when I moved to Southern California, I did. That's when it went off. That's when it went off.
Yeah.
Snoop, all these skaters. My friend Sierra introduces me still to a lot of people that I'm inspired by in skateboarding. So yeah, it just when I moved to Southern California, it just went off. I met Austin and Adam. I mean, you guys will have to remind me on where we met.
Dude, I don't like those. Yeah, that I just remember you being there. Like you were just there with those dudes. Like that's like when I think back. Yeah. That's so funny you did that. Dude. My wife does that all the time.
Actually, yeah. I know we met at Ty's, kicking it with
Yeah.
Ty and stuff, but I always loved you and Adam, man. I always loved you and Adam, but I always had an appreciation for you, Austin. You were always, Adam's funny and I love the guy. He's always been kind, but you've always been hilarious, man. Everything, I don't know, when we were always around, I was always cracking up on you wouldn't even have to tell freaking jokes, man, and we'd be cracking up.
Dude, I gotta tell you, like when we first started getting to know Ty and those dudes, because they lived directly below us, like we were down there hanging out, and Ty was bending over and picking up something like behind the couch, and his pants were down a little bit so you could see his butt crack, and for whatever reason, they had a railroad spike in it. And you gotta like we just met these dudes. And I just grabbed the railroad spike and just dropped it down into his crack. Okay. And it slides down and he's like, what the hell? And he's like he's gonna beat my ass, dude. Now he's like a UFC, double black belt dude. So, and I saw him fight tons of times after that, but I didn't know at that time. And I am laughing so hard, I am crying because I think it's the funniest thing. And I'm on the couch and he's overtopped me with his fist. And I can't even defend myself because I'm like crying tears, laughing, and then he starts laughing, and then we were friends. like that's literally.
So you actually, I told him, I've been telling him this for years. I said, man, I'll pay you if you fight somebody. Like, don't start it, but I want you've seen Ty fight people,
Yeah,
just like fuck them up.
dude. There was one. Yeah, he used to get in fights all the time. I mean. 3 that I remember, like we were at a place in Newport at a party and we were just like, I was joking around. Like the OC was a big show at that time, Yeah. And I go, and I'm like, oh, what do you guys on the OC to like some dudes, at their party and they hated that. So they were going to fight me. And I believe Ty took care of that. So, but then the other time there was a dude at our apartment complex, Camden.
Oh yeah.
And there was like some drunk guy. There was like it had its own street through it with all the apartment complexes. And some dude was down there and he was all drunk. He's like, who wants to fight me? Who wants to fight me? And Ty, we're on the 4th floor, C420. And Ty's like, I'll be right back. And he goes down. And then me and Adam are standing on the balcony and he goes out in the street and just what kill. He goes we just see him punching this dude. And Adam's like, Ty, what are you doing? And he's like, I'll be right up, man. And just punches this dude again and then comes upstairs. And then he fought some dudes in a stairwell with Sean Daddy. Were you there? Did you ever meet Sean Daddy?
It doesn't sound familiar.
The black dude that looked like Mike Tyson, who was in his 30s that like moved in with us for a little bit.
Ooh, I don't think so.
He used to buy us beer back in Merrimack Woods. And then he got, I don't know, it was a thing in Southern California, man. Like all these guys, they would, like it was so expensive to live, like their lease would be up and then they would need a place to stay. Well, like his girlfriend or whatever kicked him out. He's like, can I crash at your place for a weekend? And then next thing we know, we have Sean Daddy living with us. And we're like, then he ended up being on meth. He was smoking meth and stuff. It was insane. I'm like, we're like 20. I'm like, what is happening here?
What is this? I did see Ty tap some people out though. I
Yeah.
did tap a couple of buddies out with his jujitsu, so that was interesting. But man, I do remember now that you're saying Camden and Merrimack, all this stuff starting
Yeah.
to me, man. Good times, man.
Because where did you live?
I lived in Long Beach.
That's right. Because I remember going up to your place.
I can't explain myself for those times. Just like when we look back at our old pictures,
yeah.
wearing puka shell necklaces and all this.
I want to bring them back, dude. I want to hemp. I want to put a puka shell necklace in my hair.
Yep.
Just beat it down.
Speaking of your hair, isn't it blonde?
Dude, it was.
I was about to bring that up. I was like, speaking of style changes, what happened to your blonde hair?
Dude,
I just noticed that.
You know, it had to go back to the way it was for now. But yeah, it was fun, dude. I felt rejuvenated. That like
your natural hair color, that's the dye.
This is my natural color, but I just dyed it like, medium brown or whatever. I had to do two. I had to do two to bring it back. I had to do like to dark blonde and then wait like a week and then bring it up to medium blonde. So I spent an entire week with like golden blonde hair.
Yes. You were like a Fabio's stepson.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It was flowing, brother. That shit was flowing.
Oh, it was, dude. It was beautiful. Maybe it'll be my summer thing.
Sage, this is kind of random, but I'm just curious. Have you ever in your skating life ever crossed paths with Rob Dyrdek?
I have not.
Do you know people who have?
Oh, yeah.
Do they think he's cool? Because there was a guy from my town, Fremont, Nebraska, who bumped into him skating, and he came back and like told everybody that Rob yelled at him. And so then like all the kids my age were like, man, Rob was mean to our friend. And so people like didn't like, which was a bummer because I'm a huge like Rob Dyrdek fan. I always thought Fantasy Factory was awesome, but I just had heard that if you get in his way when he's skating, he can blow up. Have you ever heard anything like that?
No, is that what it was? Some guy got in his way or something?
Yeah, but it was like it was a skating thing though. Like it was another skater, and I don't remember the full story. I just remember that he came back to town and basically said Rob freaked out on him, and since then there's a lot of local skaters in my hood who were not cool with that. But like I said, I was always a huge fan. He seems like he's a cool dude. He's inspired me in a lot of ways. You know, he's inspirational to listen to, all the stuff he's done. I just was curious if like the word on the street with other skaters is that, or if he just caught him on a bad day.
Hey, probably got in his way. He's going to die.
Yeah. Was that recently or was that like 10 years?
No, dude, this was
when
like
he was in high school.
No, that was when I was in middle school. This was like,
that's where we're going back.
Yeah.
This is a core memory for him.
Core memory. We're talking like
he wants
2000.
to know Rob's cool.
2006 to 2008. I need to know.
So I think, Rob was young back in the day and he didn't have the success that he did. He was only a pro skater, but now, you've seen his podcasts and the way he's himself. He's changed, I've never heard of him of being like that, but if he was, he's not like that anymore.
I've always heard he's cool.
I actually think I've heard him talk about like that he used to be that way.
His house that he lived in there, Blake bought that house and lived in it for a while.
Blake did?
Yeah, lived in his house he just sold it, I think, recently.
Nice.
Interesting. It's a cool house.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Dude, you know what I didn't even realize is, because I had forgot about it, that you were cousins with Bob Saget. And when I opened for him, years and years ago, I wish I would have remembered, because then I would have had when we were hanging out, I would have had a conversation piece, because I could have been like, yeah, dude, I know Sage.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, and then I forgot about it to the point that I didn't even send you condolences. So I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no, it's all good. Yeah, he's my second cousin. So, growing up with that, I was a little kid when he was doing Full House and got all the little jokes that you could get about being related to him. But overall, it's a great guy, man. Great guy. I knew his mom and his dad really well. I used to go eat with his mom, Dolly, all the time. She would invite me over. And it was cool. And then his dad passed, and then his mom shortly after. But
and was this in New Mexico?
No, this was when I moved out to SoCal. When I was in SoCal, yeah. When I was living in Long Beach, that's when I was hanging out with Aunt Dolly and Uncle Ben. His dad's name's Ben.
Wow.
So what was Bob like behind the wall of fame? Because I mean, I've met him several times and worked with him, but still, he was Bob Saget. You know what I mean? So I never got to meet possibly like the real Bob.
I think you did get the real Bob because he was always like that.
All right.
He was always real. I asked him one time straight to his face. I said, "Hey man, if I, Bob, you got any like suggestions for acting or this and that?" He's like, "Yeah, take acting lessons." Asking him advice on how to do this, he's just take lessons, and he kind of left it like that. I didn't really hear him like crack any jokes or anything around him, when I was around or anything. I did go to his when his dad died. They had like a little funeral service for his dad, so I was there, and there was a bunch of comedians there. Forgot the one guy who was on SNL. Anyway, but saw David Spade, saw all these other guys, and saw the family. It was cool. I wasn't really like connected like that. I mean, they knew who I was, and I was hanging out with his mom and dad, but it wasn't like his daughters knew me. It wasn't like, oh, there's Sage. I was kind of,
Well, that's cool that all those comedians showed up to his dad's funeral. So
Yeah.
did he?
John Lovitz was there too.
Oh, dude, I worked with John Lovitz not too long ago. We actually had a reel about him kicking at Andy Dick's ass that went
a lot of views. Yeah, we were just talking about the story of John Lovitz punching Andy Dick or whatever, and it got a lot of views online.
Yeah, did you talk to John at all? He's a cool dude.
Did he kick your ass? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I wouldn't fuck with John Lovitz.
Did he have his dog with him?
No.
Okay, I didn't know he loves his dog. I thought he might carry it because I could see like a John Lovitz with his hair slicked back holding his little poodle.
Yeah, it was just weird when I was there. Everyone's kind of in mourning, and
yeah, funeral's not the time to be like, yo, I'm a huge...
can I get your autograph?
Yeah, no,
you saw my tits.
Yeah.
No, but that's cool that all of his buddies showed up for his dad's funeral.
Yeah,
it says a lot.
And then it was cool too that when cousin Bob died, John Mayer, got to give a shout out to John Mayer. He's the one who they didn't have like it was going to cost a lot of money to fly him back, and so John Mayer put cousin Bob on the jet, flew his ass back.
Oh, wow. Really?
To get buried. Yeah. So big shout out to John Mayer, man. I've always thought John Mayer's music was cool, this, that, but now I love John Mayer.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but like he's somehow had intercourse with every single hot chick that is famous. Let's just put it there.
Yes.
Dude, it's just not even
kind soul. He might be a stallion with the ladies, but he's a very kind soul, and the Saget family appreciates him.
Dude, John Mayer is the reason why I got into the Grateful Dead, because I think he's like a big fan of them, and I was listening to him talk. He just like named some songs that were good, and I checked them out, and I was like, okay, I like the Grateful Dead now, because they're a band that you kind of have to be introduced to. I don't know.
Introduced to on shrooms.
Sober Grateful Dead.
He's a sober Grateful Dead fan. What are you talking?
Yeah.
So did John Mayer go to the funeral?
I mean, I didn't go, but yeah, he went. Yeah, he was there. It was a good turnout. They had it on I didn't go, but they sent us a link, which was really weird. They sent us a link. Only certain family members could get it. The link to his memorial service.
Oh.
So like walking up to him, to the casket and stuff. So
wow.
I got a link to see that. That was very, very interesting. Seeing a funeral over Zoom. You know what I mean?
He was in Omaha. He played Omaha right before he went down to Florida.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so it was
he was coming to San Jose too. I was supposed to go see him.
Yeah. Yeah, weird thing, man. Did they ever figure out what it was?
No, I mean, they're saying like he fell, hit his head, and then somehow got back up and got into bed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what's going on right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Do I think somebody attacked him and then put him in his bed? Who knows? I know that's also a little theory right there, right? Someone knocked him up.
Is that a theory?
I've heard that. Yeah. Yeah.
Who would attack him?
Yeah. That it was people were suspicious of it. I don't know. It is sad. I mean, it was so sudden and obviously not expected. It's crazy stuff.
He could have
Yeah.
just, I think, and just ate shit and hit his head really hard. And then, I'm a skateboarder. We hit our heads, but he probably just hit his head that one wrong time. And plus, he's older now, He's no
Yeah.
young spring chicken. So probably hit his head and hurt and then just kind of crawled back into bed, concussion. And then, you can't fall asleep when you have a major concussion like that. So,
Yeah, it's kind of like when the singer of Soundgarden, Chris Cornell, died. I think I'd heard an interview with his wife say it was so bizarre how he did it. She basically looks at it as an accident, like he died on tour. It was technically a suicide, but she's like, I just think he took the wrong medication at the wrong time, and it just had a reaction to him, and he kind of freaked out. And she's like, I don't even, from what I had read, she just was like, yeah, I look at it as like a accident. So, dude, who knows? You're on tour, you're in a hotel room, there's nobody else to see it, So it's
yeah, I
just
don't think he got clubbed or there was no DNA. There was no
yeah.
fingerprints. No one's going to cap Bob Saget.
It was John Stamos, wasn't it? They had
Yeah.
some inner feud.
Well, I know too, there's also a theory, and I'm going to talk about this briefly, but some people are saying Bob Saget's like a dirty man because of his jokes and that he
Oh,
likes little girls and none of that's true, man. None of that's true. He was doing these jokes long time ago. If you know Bob Saget, he was doing these jokes long before everyone
in the
got
80s, man.
before everyone got sensitive around here, and you could say any words in movies. You go watch a Richard Pryor movie from back in the day, you'll hear every cuss
Dude,
word.
watch an Eddie Murphy special. There was one dude that doesn't even do stand up anymore because Bobby Slayton. Bobby Slayton was like just the legend of insult. They called him the pit bull of comedy, dude. And when I was, in the early 2000s and stuff and doing comedy clubs and doing all that and working, dude, I saw him like the shit he was saying. If he said that nowadays, they would, I don't even know what they would do.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
would men would have their periods.
Yeah. I think that's what's kind of happening right now is like these jokes. People know Bob Saget as like a dirty joke teller and this and that. And they start to like correlate the two. But you've met him. Millions of people have met this guy. If he was like that, somebody would know. You know what I mean? Or it would come. You know what I mean? So.
Dude, that you just reminded me of one of the funniest parts I think of, and I believe it's Eddie Murphy's Delirious, is when a lady yells, "I love you, Eddie," and then you hear very faintly. You have to pay attention. Do you know what I'm about to say? Where Charlie Murphy goes, "Shut up, bitch!" And
No,
then,
I didn't know that was a thing.
on the special, this lady is like, "I love you, Eddie," and then you just hear Charlie, "Shut up, bitch," and then Eddie breaks down laughing like really, really hard, and it's you can find it on YouTube, but it is hilarious.
I got to see that.
Yeah,
Some of that stuff's funny in comedy, man.
yeah,
With comedy, I'm no stand-up comedian, but in my opinion, when you go to see a comedian perform, you go to see them perform. You're not there to be sensitive or interrupt them or, oh, you shouldn't say this or that, unless it's obviously something negative. But there's no comedians that I know really besides the Seinfeld dude.
Yeah, dude.
oh yeah.
Austin's not going out there like, oh, F you guys, word this and then
Yeah, dude, there's got to be like a little bit of danger to it. When you go see a comedy show, you got to be like excited to hear what the comedian's going to say and also be a little bit scared of what they might say, but like that's the fun, exciting part. It's like going into a haunted house. Like, there are going to be scares and you're going to jump, but that's just part of it. You don't want to go into a haunted house where there's not any scares. You just walk it through and you're like, oh, that's a cool room with some cobwebs. All the fucking lights are on.
Yeah. I actually went to only one haunted house in my life when I was 17. And it was my last time. I walked through, this lady comes up behind me, and my reaction being scared was this. Smack that lady right in the face, man. Broke her nose. I had to run out of the house. Yeah. My last time in a haunted house.
Wait, how old were you?
17.
17? You broke some lady's nose and ran for it?
I don't know if I did, but she said, oh, you broke my fucking nose.
So yeah, you had to take off. Yeah.
Dude, one time I was at a haunted house and this dude with a chainsaw like kicked the door open and it hit me in the back of the hand. And so he kicks the door open, it hits my hand, and he's like, ah! And then he saw that the door hit me, and he goes, ah! Oh, bro, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's fine. He's like, are you sure you're okay? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's okay. He's like, okay, ah! And I was like,
go back in character.
yeah, he like went back into character. I was like, it's okay,
Hilarious.
dude. Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that. I love that.
Yeah, I'm not a haunted. I worked in a haunted house, and that was fun. But I don't. Yeah, I don't really care for them.
No,
Not
no.
my thing. I like. It just depends if they're like overtly scary and like disgusting. And I'm like, no. But if they're cool, like I like really cool stuff. Like the one I worked in, all the rooms had a different theme. One was like an Edgar Allan Poe, and like it was just details like fireplaces, candles. It was just they were like almost like movie sets. So I thought that I like stuff like that.
Like cool effects, like find out if you have epilepsy at our fun house.
Yeah,
You know, like that.
yeah. Sage punched the woman, and she had an epileptic seizure
Yeah.
Yeah,
at the same time.
She died, and it's an open case. They're trying to find this.
my bad. Sorry.
This is we found him. It's like closing the Tupac case.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, how old were you when you figured out how to do kick flips consistently, and how did that feel?
I remember learning them in the garage. I don't remember I might have been like 12. I think I was like 12. Did a kickflip. It was amazing. I never learned like most people learn tricks on the carpet. I never learned that way. I always had to roll and do the tricks.
Yeah.
Kickflip was good. Heel flip took me a long time. I remember heel flip took me a long time. But shit, now I got those tricks in the bag.
Yeah, dude. How do you even learn them back then? Back then, we didn't have YouTube.
Was it like Thrasher magazine had like photos or how tos on that?
No, I mean, the only thing you'd get in Thrasher back in the day is sequence shots, and it's not like it's showing close-ups. I mean, I had neighbors who were skaters, so I would just be around them all the time. They were like 5 years older than me or something, so I was the little grommet shit.
Oh yeah,
dude. When I got my skateboard, my dad was like, "When you ride your skateboard, you have to wear your helmet." And I was like so self-conscious that I couldn't do it because I was like afraid that I would be in my driveway trying to learn how to skate, and like skaters who would drive by and like stop their car and make fun of me for it. Like this was in my middle school mind, was like some like a car full of skaters were gonna be driving by and be like, "Hey, that kid's got a helmet," and like pull over and start making fun of me. So I just basically didn't even do it. I was like, if like I would try it, and the helmet was so bulky, and just felt embarrassed by it. And I think it was a mistake. I think I should have just wore the helmet and went for it.
We grew up in a time where there weren't even helmets at the store, right? You didn't wear a helmet, did you, Sage?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I got a skateboard for Christmas one year. It had Bart Simpson on it.
Oh hell yeah!
I did not get a helmet with it.
Was it the one when he's pulling his pants down? You can see his ass.
I don't know. No, I think it was just like a headshot of him.
Dude, I'm gonna
you have that one?
No, I was just that'd be funny if they did sell that one though.
They probably would. You should paint that one.
Dude, I gotta pull up. I'm on my phone because I'm trying to look up a skate deck, and I'm gonna see if you remember. Did you ever run into the 1980s Powell Peralta 7P cab?
Was it an airplane?
The 1980s Powell Peralta 7P Caballero Dragon.
Yeah, I had the red one.
Oh, dude, he knew it. Dude, he knew it. That's the one I'm talking
That's
about.
awesome. Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was yeah, man. That was the board that my brother always wanted. I've always dude, I'm gonna buy that board someday and give it to my older brother. My brother was yeah.
They do a lot of re-releases, so you can get those old graphics from back.
Yeah. I'm gonna get that from my brother someday.
So who was your inspiration to be an artist, to paint? You know, like where did that come from?
Man. I mean, it's funny, you know, I used to sit in front of the TV as a kid with the Saturday morning cartoons. You guys know Pee-wee's Playhouse, Garfield, Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
All those cartoons, right? So I would just sit on TV and just draw the characters.
Oh, hell yes. Dude, that's the coolest origin story of an artist I think I've ever heard so far on the show.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, you know, learned how to draw in pencil really well. And then in middle school and high school, mostly high school, I'd sell drawings for $100 a pop. People would want me to draw them, their faces, whatever. And so I would literally scratch pieces of paper, flip these drawings for $100 a pop. And then took some art classes in high school. Didn't really work out because they're always telling you what to do and shit.
Yeah.
And right when I moved to SoCal, I did a painting, a Frank Sinatra painting, a big old son of a bitch. Sold it for 2 racks right off the jump.
Damn.
And that's it. I was like, oh, I can do this, you know?
Dude, be
That's
honest.
awesome.
In high school, would kids ask you to draw pictures of naked girls?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Like in your class, they're like, "Hey, will you?"
Yeah, while I'm in class, you know,
Yeah.
when I should have been paying attention.
Dude, oh man, back in the day, I bet that was like, if the kid didn't have internet, that was worth
Dude,
$100.
Yeah, we had that friend in high school too that could draw. We always had him draw everything, and he turned us into a comic strip. I still have it somewhere.
Oh, sick.
And yeah, it was called the Skunky Six or something, and we all had, it just he just exaggerated features that we had and stuff, but it was funny. We'd read them at lunch, and I'm like, damn it, I wish I could draw. I tried to draw, man. I tried to do it, but I got to a certain point. But it's awesome because my son, he can draw really well. He's actually just finished a comic book today. And when I get home, he's like, I finished another Power Man. That's his character he made up.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never told you this, but I always wanted to get a mullet and dye it green and call myself Power Man. And then you're like, my son has this comic book called Power Man. And I was like, oh, dude, that's so cool.
Your comic,
Now you got to get that mullet.
yeah, dude.
I know.
Your comic book character just sounds like a guy whose special power is just drinking beer and cooking meth.
Or Captain Planet. It's not even original. That was
Yeah,
basically Captain Planet.
Oh yeah, dude. Did you watch Captain Planet?
I did.
I did too. And now I think we didn't have very many options. I think if we had more options, we would have never watched Captain Planet.
Yeah.
With all the rings, they're like water, fire. And then like Adam Lambert pops out of the earth. He's like, I'm going to save the day.
Dude, Sage, have you seen that new Ninja Turtle movie?
The new one with the
Dude, the art's awesome in that.
is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
cool.
all wearing glasses and stuff.
Yeah, Mutant Mayhem. I took my son to that. Dude, the artwork is fantastic. It's just a really cool it's just cool.
Yeah. The guy who the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle logo, there's an artist I know, J.V. Villard. He's the one who did that.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
It's the logo, yeah. He's on
Dude, that's
IG, J.V. Villard, I think. But,
We'll have to hit him. We'll have to look him up, dude.
yeah. But yeah, as far as the artwork, man, I draw everything and then I paint it. Like this right here, this is all hand drawn and then painted. And then I've got right on the beard right there, I got Louis Vuitton print. I cut a purse out and put Louis Vuitton.
nice.
Oh, that's
dude.
awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I've just tried new things over the years and they've worked. And I love pop art. Andy Warhol's a big inspiration, Basquiat, and I just love creating stuff, man. I could easily go home and sit on the couch and not do shit every day, but I could sit on the couch and smoke weed and paint.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. What's your favorite thing that you've ever painted?
Oh, man. Besides a family portrait for Snoop, I did a recently El Chapo wearing a Coogee suit, multicolored Coogee suit holding gyros in each hand. And I did it for a restaurant. I did it for a gyro restaurant in San Francisco. He's
badass.
So it's El Chapo's face with the menacing grim smirk with the Coogee suit with the gyros.
Dude, that's awesome. Why did that guy want El Chapo? So, what?
I don't know, but I did it. I put on Instagram and then they shadow ban me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. IG, because I'm an artist. I try and show off my artwork, obviously, but IG
you're not really allowed to do that.
Dude.
I didn't like that. They shadow banned me.
Dude, have you heard that song El Chapo by The Game?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a cool song. El Chapo, woo, woo, woo. It's a good song.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out.
Yeah. Well, who's it by?
The Game, dude.
Oh, The Game. Game seems like a cool dude. He's always out in the community.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's been in a lot of beefs though, too. So
yeah. Is he like 50 Cent though? If I like 50 Cent, 50 Cent just talks shit on people. And,
oh, he and 50 Cent have beef, but the best
they do.
One of my favorite beefs.
I'm encouraging it. I don't even know. I just want him to fight.
One of my favorite diss songs of all time was the one that The Game did on Meek Mill. Have you heard that one, Sage?
I believe so. I'll have to listen to it again though.
I think it's called like Rat Pest Control or Rat Control or something like that. But he goes so unbelievably hard, and I like it. I like a good like on a diss if you can throw in something. And I don't have anything against Meek Mill. Meek Mill, don't come after me. But if you ever see this, but he just puts in like really like subtle, funny stuff where it's like he didn't need to put that in there, but he did. So yeah, the game's funny.
Yeah.
The game be funny.
I was gonna ask you if you've ever in the artistic world, not the music world, but if you've ever had any interactions with Kanye West as a non-musical artist, as just like a artist. If
No.
that question made sense.
No, I've like seen him from like a distance, but not anywhere near him. Or I don't think even if I came up to him and talked to him, he'd give me the time of day.
Do you look at like his like any of his designs, the shoe design, stuff like that? Are you into that, or are you into that type of art?
Uh, Not really. Like his shoe art, like his Yeezys and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
I won't wear them. I'm a skateboarder, man.
yeah.
You can't wear those. They're too flimsy, man. I got a pair as a gift, and I ended up just wearing them on my farm and getting them dirty. And then the dude that gave them to me, so he's like, "What are you doing to these?" They were like light blue, Yeezys, and I'm like, "What, man? I mean, these are my shoes right now. These are my shoes for everything." And my feet always slipped off the soles because they're just mesh on both sides.
I've never even tried a pair
Not a
on.
fan.
Never tried a pair on. I've just been skateboarder since I was 9. All the skateboard clothes and shoes and brands. That's what I rock. Spitfire, Thrasher.
Yeah, dude. What are some of your favorite brands? Like when I was growing up, there's like Element was a big one. World Industries? Is they the one with the Flame Boy and or Wet Willie?
Yeah, they're not really around much anymore. I think they're still running the Flame Boy, Wet Willie stuff, but that's not that's not in the industry standards per se for skateboarding.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite brands?
Man, I used to rock when I in middle school. There's a company called Drawers. I don't know if you remember Droors. That
I
was
don't think so.
that was a sister brand of DC shoes. Man, what did I used to rock? I used to rock a lot of DC shoes, a lot of Chad Muska shoes, Circa shoes, just all the skateboard stuff. I go to the skate shop and just, shoes were super expensive as a kid back in the day, and so going to get shoes was like a special treat.
Oh yeah.
Oh
dude.
yeah, dude.
I remember, dude, when we first moved to California, I was at the Irvine Mall, where the Irvine Improv is, and I saw Tony Hawk. He was just walking around with the skateboard. And I walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, my brother likes you. Can I get your autograph?" When I was only like 18, but I just think like,
did he give it to you?
Like, I didn't even tell him I liked him. I played his game and stuff. I was a fan, but I wanted it for my brother. Yeah, he gave it to me. I gave it to my brother.
Dude, I've read his business books and stuff. Like Tony Hawk is another like random inspiration of mine, but a dude who I learned a lot from. Like he's a pretty awesome dude, I
He
think.
taught him how to have sex.
Yeah. Tony Hawk taught me how to have sex.
He has a book, How to Make Love Like Tony
Yeah.
Hawk.
It's if you do it right, you can actually do a kickflip while you have sex. So have you ever seen the documentary The Man Who Sold the World about Steve Rocco?
Yeah, actually.
Did you ever have any interactions with him at all, or?
No, but I heard, Steve Rocco was a big part of the skateboard industry. World Industries and all these brands. I mean, I think I heard a story about him that he gave one of his riders the credit card, like they needed a camera or something. And he's like, "Oh, here's the company credit card, go buy whatever." Like
I've heard that. Yeah, I have heard that story.
I heard just Rocco didn't give a fuck. It was all about skateboarding, and he didn't have a boss. He was the boss.
Well, that guy sounds cool.
Yeah, dude, he is.
Yeah.
What about who was Snoop's BFF in the rap world?
I mean, Nate Dogg and Warren G.
God, those are the best.
Yeah, I got to
R.I.P. Nate Dogg, the greatest voice of all time, dude. I just recently, just a few days ago, went to listen to some of his songs, like These Days. I think my favorite one of his ever is I
get more ass than a toilet seat.
No, I mean that's got a great beat to it, but it's the nobody does it better, dude.
Does it better. Yeah.
Nobody. Dude, if I could sing like Nate Dogg, I would never even talk normal. I would just be singing in that low voice all the time about everything. Subway. I'd be
That's
like,
No,
He,
I don't want that toast,
give me
dude.
that cold cut trio. So did you get to meet the Nate?
Yeah, I met him. I got to meet him before he passed. His son was in the football league, and so I think Nate Dogg's son and Snoop's son's teams were playing for the Snooper Bowl. They called it the Snooper Bowl.
Of course they did.
And so,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Nate got to see Warren G. I got to see all those guys.
Dude, Dr. Dre.
I never got to see. I did get to see Dre in a room, but not like in the room, but didn't have to talk to him. The coolest guy, though, out of everyone, to be honest with you, who is always and still is cool to me, is Kurupt.
Really?
I love Kurupt, man. He's always
Dude.
always gives me hugs when I see him. Just anytime I wanted to kick it with him, he'd want to kick it with me. Hey, you got some Hennessy, or hey, you got some weed, and we'd go kick it. And
So you were smoking weed and Hennessy and drinking Hennessy with Kurupt?
yeah, I got pictures.
I love that. That is awesome.
Was he in that
What are
song
the
Balls of
odds?
Steel with
What are
Snoop
the
Dogg?
odds, dude? Isn't life just so weird? All of a sudden, you're Snoop Dogg's assistant, painting him family portraits, sipping Hennessy with Kurupt.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, that was just a chapter in my life. No big deal.
Well, I never got to go on tour or see any of the crazy like tour story stuffs, but I tell you what, these groupies will do just about anything to meet these guys, man.
What? Dude.
He's just
I see some things, man. You know,
Yeah, dude. I'm sure some of those stories as a man will make your stomach hurt just thinking about how that lady probably went on to marry a fine man someday and never told him
exactly.
yeah.
what it took to get that selfie.
All of a sudden, he just finds like a Polaroid where she's hanging out with Snoop, Nate Dogg, Kurupt, and Warren G. He's like, what is this?
That's one for the crew, brother.
Just met him backstage real
There's
quick.
some random white guy, me, just like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell is that guy?
He was the one getting us our blunts. We didn't even ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just very interesting time, very interesting life. Very grateful and appreciative for where I'm at now, but just a lot of stories, man. A lot of stories.
Yeah, I hope we're not making you uncomfortable bringing that stuff up.
That's why I'm here, man. That's why I'm here. I don't tell
Oh,
people. I don't tell people this kind of stuff because I don't want to seem like I'm bragging or
Right.
Yeah, of course.
You know, if people ask, I'll tell them, but otherwise, nobody knows I worked for.
Yeah,
Snoop.
dude. I used to just worry about that too. Like I didn't want people to think or name dropping, but then I'm like, I don't know. This is my life.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
So like, it's hard when it's part of your life story.
Yeah,
Meeting all these
I'm
people.
excited
and
to see
talking
him
to them.
again. I haven't seen him in probably like 10 years, so it'll be good.
Were you into that like with Adam and Blake and those guys? You were hanging out with them before Workaholics, right?
Yeah, I was hanging out with them. I never hung out with Blake. I never hung out. I only hung out with, as I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, Austin. I only hung out with Austin and Adam.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple other homies that Austin and Adam had. That was it. I remember after school, Austin and Adam would go to stand-up school, right? Wouldn't you guys go?
Oh
to
yeah,
stand-up
no,
class?
I did. Yeah, I went to Judy Garland's stand-up school. She has the stand-up comedy Bible. And it was like one of those things where they tell you what to do, and I didn't want to be told what to do. Like she actually taught the class. Like,
You don't have that book. You trained under her?
Yeah, dude, I took her class and she hated me, I think. I went in, I wanted to do, I still have my tape that we performed at the Improv after completing the class.
Yeah.
And then, but they covered up the Improv sign because they didn't want a bunch of like amateurs getting that plug, which is fine because we were green, but no, I liked the class a lot, but I wanted to do I wanted to tell stories, and it was more of a premise, setup, punch type deal, and I was trying to tell stories. So
Exactly. I just remember you guys were so motivated with it. Like this was before really any types. I mean, there's always been comedians, who have been in movies and stuff, but like, I don't know, the time that you guys were doing it, that was kind of before like the big blow up.
oh yeah, dude. There was no one like doing it. I mean,
No.
that we knew of. Like that's why we left Omaha. I mean, I had to drive down when I lived in Omaha before we moved out there. I had to drive down to Kansas City on Monday nights to be able to do 3.5 minutes because there was nowhere in Omaha to do it.
Yeah.
And then Then when I moved back from California, I was the host. I became the host at the Funny Bone for like every weekend for almost like 2 years because there were no other comedians,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane if you
Yeah.
think about it. Like there was just no one else.
No,
It
you
wasn't a
guys,
thing.
yeah, you guys were doing this long before any of these comedians nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I just admired you guys. You guys were naturally hilarious. I mean, both of you guys, just naturally hilarious. You could say anything and it would be funny. And I just loved how you guys would always just work on your craft, go to school, you know what I mean? Just grind. And it was always fun hanging around you guys. You know what I mean?
Did you ever watch like Crossbows and Mustaches from back right before like Workaholics popped off? I think. Do you remember that at all with
Oh,
Adam and those guys?
no. Were you in
They
that all?
watched it. No, I was living back here, but they made it. You should look it up. It's really funny. But there was a thing when he was in high school. Like it
Yes.
was like right when MySpace, it was the height of MySpace.
Yeah, like we were in high school, and I remember my friends showing it to me on YouTube, and we used to quote it all the time because there's a part in there where they're like, "The cocaine, man," and we would just be out fishing, and we would just "the cocaine, man" randomly. And then when Workaholics came out, my friends were like, "Dude, we got to watch this." So I've seen so many episodes of that. And then when I met Austin, I didn't even know that he knew Adam Devine until a few, I don't know, it was like a little bit into knowing you, where one of my friends was like, did you know he grew up with Adam Devine? And I was like, no. And then I think the first thing I asked you was, oh, you knew Adam Devine, or you know Adam Devine. Were you ever a part of Crossbows and Mustaches? Like that was
That was his thing. I
Yeah.
should have lied to him. I should have said,
Yeah.
I'm the guy who eats the ball sack. It wasn't the rats.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't know. They had some torture scene where they sat on the seat and then their ball sack dropped through like the wicker, and then they put like a bag of rats on his nutsack or something.
The
Am I right?
cocaine,
Is
man.
that a
Yes,
scene?
it's something like that. My favorite was like you're like the body where they like throw it up and Superman punch it. Like, dude, so funny. So,
Yeah.
Sage, did you think it was awesome that they were in apartment C420? Do you
I,
remember?
When he said that, I was like, "That's right, that's right." It was meant to be, man. It was meant to be. All of us meeting, and you guys doing what you're doing now was all meant to be, man. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I loved it. The first time I ever saw Adam, like hit the big time in a sense, I think it was like a Taco Bell commercial or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the first time where I was like, "Oh, dang, my buddy made it."
Yeah, dude. I remember, yeah, he came back for Christmas and his parents still lived here, and then he had it on tape. That's how long it was, and we watched it or
Yeah.
whatever with his mom and dad and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I
that
saw
was
him. He came to San Jose probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I saw him and went backstage, and he was super nice. And I brought him a bunch of weed, I think like a pound. And he was like, "Oh, I got to say bye to my friends, and this and that's going to take a while." And then the guy I was with was a freaking jerk. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go, I gotta leave," and so I had to throw the pound of weed in their tour bus. So I don't know, Adam, if you're watching this, if you ever got that weed, man, you never told
Wait,
me.
what year was that? Was that 2015?
Maybe.
Dude, I think I did part of that tour. And I want to tell you that, yeah, that was probably your weed on the bus. There was a lot because I remember we were going into Oklahoma, and I had read a book called Pot Inc., where it talked about like the insane marijuana laws across the country and how insane the laws were in Oklahoma, and how one guy went to jail, got life in prison for just having like a roach. And so we're going into Oklahoma, and with probably your pound of weed. And I'm like, if we get pulled over, we're all going to jail. This is Oklahoma,
You
dude.
gotta eat it, dude.
So that was probably, I think I can confirm.
Sweet. I don't remember how much it was, but I know it was a fucking shitload. And
Yeah, there was a lot. Because I remember thinking, where did you get all this weed? And they probably told me, but I just don't remember because of
Yeah.
weed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure if he got it. I didn't want to throw it on someone like the wrong bus. I was like, "Oh, yeah, drop it off in this green bus," and then
It's like a marching band, San Jose middle school marching band.
well, that's good to know. I'm glad he got the herb. That makes me feel good. But I think he's coming in town November or something, so I might see him just to say hi, support him.
Oh,
Well,
that's
cool,
funny.
man. Well, dude, plug all your stuff, and then you're a Toolshed Art Club member now, so we're gonna have you on All the time,
Appreciate
baby.
you guys. Yeah. Also, if you guys ever have time, check out the website. If you haven't, painttheworldofficial.com or my Instagram at painttheworldofficial.
And then, so what's kind of the process of people that maybe they want to have a painting commissioned by you? What's that process look like?
Yeah, you could just DM me on Instagram. And that's it. Send me images of what you'd like. We can discuss sizing, prices, and stuff. And that's it. Pretty easy. Pretty
Awesome.
easy process. I love what I do. I love painting. I love skateboarding. I love you guys. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, man. You too. You got an awesome
Yeah, right
Instagram.
back at you, man.
Dude, I can't believe. Are you still shadow banned on Instagram?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay, good, good. I was gonna say, yeah, yeah, dude. You're doing awesome stuff. Love the t-shirts, all that stuff. So
Thank
Yeah,
you, guys.
dude, that sticker that you put on the skateboard too, I have it in. I don't know if my wife found it or not. We have like little locker cubbies, that are real pristine, all white, and I put that sticker in my top cubby. I don't know if she's found it or not. She'll be pissed when she does because it's a sticker, but I got it there. She doesn't watch this either, so she'll never know.
Yeah, we could do another podcast and see how that went.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I love to have you on. I love what you're doing. I love painting artists. We're showcasing all kinds of artists on this show. I love skaters, dude. We got to get in with the skate crowd because that's such a cool group of dudes.
Yeah.
And not just dudes, cool group of people. Uh, but yeah, man, that's awesome. Sage, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate you, and we'll talk soon. And Toolshed Art Club for life.
Yeah, dude.
All right, guys, paint the world.
Take the world, baby.
Love you guys. Later.